Kamala Musiposihle, and I'm back with another video. So, this is a message to the black people all over the world. If you still think colonialism and neo-colonialism and slavery is still the thing that's holding us back today, wake up. Wake up. The only people who've been holding themselves, it's us. We are not the first slaves in this world, black people. We are not the first slaves. We are the recent ones. We are the one who just came back from that. But we are not slaves. You know who are making us slaves? Our leaders. The corruption. I'm telling you, if the corruption will end in Africa, Africa will thrive. If corruption will end in black people, Africa will thrive. Those corrupt leaders, I'm still pissed at them. I'll always be pissed at them for my life. I'll always spread the message. Make sure that they have been judged, because history will judge. So we must put this information out there. So when it's time for history to judge, they will look at you. They'll know that you and your offspring and your bloodline all did this to the people, to the black people. Nigeria should be rich, but the corruption in Nigeria, the corruption in every African country. Why we make corruption be part of our daily life? Why do we have to do that to ourselves? Why do we have to bribe everywhere we go? Why do you making it a norm to be a criminal, to do things because of money? Why can't we ridicule that? Because it's the only thing. I'm telling you, there's no white person holding you. There's no Indian person holding you. There's no colored person holding you. You are holding yourself back every day because of our leaders. We choose bad leaders, and these leaders, they just, the other thing is we choose leaders who were freedom fighters. That's another problem. We think if they fought for freedom, they should rule this freedom. They should tell us how this freedom should be run because they fought for it. That's another problem we're facing as Africans. Everybody has the task in this world. It doesn't mean if Boye Hlatini, you should be a leader. Maybe your role was Boye Hlatini, to save your people, to fight because you are a warrior. But if you are a leader, you should have advisors to the highest level, not the advisors because of they are your friends. Have advisors because of they know what they're talking about. They have skills that you don't have. Not this nepotism we're doing. It keeps us at the low. We don't facilitate corruption in Africa. We don't facilitate corruption in Africa. I don't know what's the problem. Us as Africans, we don't facilitate corruption. What's the problem? What's the problem? Why is temporary satisfaction then see swap with a permanent misery? Because this corruption is leading to a permanent misery. Not just the temporary misery, the permanent. all these countries, like I said in my other videos, China were not respected in this world. China were known to be one of people who eat rats, dogs. We didn't respect Chinese people, but they've earned their respect. Now Xi Jinping can call every African leader to China right now. Then they will come right now, because they're looking for the Chinese money. You know why? They were patient. They took care of one thing: corruption. One thing. If you take corruption in a country, let me tell you how many doors you open by closing one door. Just one door. You just close the corruption door. Let me tell you how many doors open. The country becomes safe to trade. The business and the investors come to the country because of every time it becoming safe, and they know that they're not gonna be taken advantage of, because of there's justice, there's no corruption in the country. The more the money runs to the people, the more crime rates even plummets, goes to the down. Because of why? Because of I have things to do. Why should I be a criminal? Because of even why my kid would want to be a criminal if naye ukule in a family that's good. Naye, the only thing in Ngqondo it's about innovation. Why would you take somebody else's car if I afford 2 cars, 3 cars, 4 cars? Why? Why would you take somebody's bag if I afford 10 bags? Why would you take somebody as 100 rand if I can give you 50 of those? So that's where it comes to the place of we think sicabangele eduze. We don't think for long term. We just think for short term, because by now, if there wasn't much corruption, because the only problem in Africa is corruption. If it wasn't for this much corruption, trust me, nobody would, like, abantu abamnyama kube Africa yonke, it would be like Africa would be most developed country. I'm telling you, that's where we would find a way to fight bigger fights, like taking economy back to the people. But we can't take the economy back to the people with this much corruption. We can't. When I say taking economy back to the people, I'm saying giving people skills. Then government will incorporate with those people who have taken land. We're not taking it the old style. Nobody will wanna take land like the old days, but we wanna take it efficiently. And we don't wanna take everything so you are left with nothing. But what's important is to make sure that we compensate people who need to be compensated. But it's not like the person who took things, it's in America. The person who took things is here in South Africa with us, eating this world in front of us. So it's a little bit different. It's not like they taking your resources, but they don't stay in your country. You don't even see who's doing these things. We know who's doing these things to us. So if our government wasn't corrupt, trust me, they would direct the people to the right direction. They didn't direct us to the right direction on purpose, because the government has the power to direct its people to the right direction. Let me tell you one example of what I mean. Our government always emphasized education more than skills, more than anything, more than, they always emphasize to read, to be at school. Look, the unemployment rate. Because they've trained us to depend on them. They didn't train us to stand for ourselves. So now we have to break the matrix in our heads. We need to break the matrix to learn to do things our way. Don't wait for the government to meet you halfway to do certain things for you. Let the government follow you. I've been saying the thing. Let the government follow you. Don't follow the government. Because we don't even know what the agenda they are pushing. Because if they are pushing the agenda of creating justice, I believe most of the black people wouldn't be so poor in Africa, in South Africa, in every African country. I'm telling you, the investors would be interested. That's where we would gain our respect. Just that you people don't understand the bigger picture. If we prosper, it's the world, people say you shouldn't respect people because of what they have. That's the world we live in. This world won't respect you, won't even hear what you say if you don't have. Now in your families, nobody listens to the broke uncle who doesn't do anything, who doesn't have money. They only listen to those uncles who came with the car. Yeah, his wife is respected. But if you are just a guy, they send you to buy cold drinks. They send you to buy. It's the reality. If you don't want to face the reality, you must be dumb or have something wrong with your head. If you have something good with your head, if you are okay in the head, by now you should be knowing that you're only respected of how much you bring to the table. Stop being stupid about it. Stop being stupid. Start to wake up. Realize that, okay, Sharp, since the world is like this, how can I adapt in this world? Because at the end of the day, we are thrown in the dungeons. Anybody can do anything to us. We are the most vulnerable people on this planet. And it's not a nice feeling to be there, to be on the fight or flight mode. We're living at the fight or flight mode. We're living out of fear. And that's bad. Because if we're not hungry, we are scared for our lives. Dear African leaders, I hope this message one day reach you. Be a man. Be a man. Be a man. What happened to the manhood? What happened to the integrity? What happened? Because if you build that integrity for yourself, you build integrity for your country. Please, let them sanction Africa as a whole and see if they would live without Africa. Let America sanction us as a whole. We should stand for each other and say, what you're doing to Zimbabwe is bad. You better sanction the whole of Africa. Sanction Nigeria, sanction South Africa, sanction all of us. Or lift the sanctions in Zimbabwe. We are tired of this. Why are we going to let our brother suffocate in front of our eyes? It's like, that pain of watching your brother, being suffocated, and his breath is coming out second by second by second by second. Then when he's about to die, they will flock to Zimbabwe and take his resources. He won't have any air to breathe, and take whatever they want to take, as much as make the country ungovernable, corrupt even more. That's why it's important for us to say. That's why even I will always support South Africa for saying to other Africans, go home. I love Africans. I love Africans. I would never trade to be anything but African. So I think, if a person would say, go home and face my problems, it would hurt, but I would go home and face my problems. Because at the end of the day, I can't be at his base for the rest of my life. I need to go home so we can mobilize, and we can rise again. It only takes one strength. We can't rise while we're in South Africa. We are comfortable. You can't rise when you are comfortable, getting the benefits from the government. You can't. So that's why South Africans are getting the backlash other countries should be getting. Every benefit that every foreign is getting is South Africa. It's where South Africans should be getting. So they are the ones becoming comfortable. We are the one feeling like foreign. We are the ones feeling uncomfortable. That's why most South Africans are becoming hard and hard. And I think it was a good thing. I think it's a good thing that we were shaken like this, so we can know, because of, I think we were a little bit too comfortable. Hoping the government will show us the right way. But our government didn't show us the right way. But now we are on the right track. So dear Africans, I'm still telling you, learn from South Africans. We as South Africans never run from our problems. If you find a South African anywhere, he's not running away from his problem. And that's why he's causing less problem in countries. That's why South African will be causing less problem in other countries. They might cause problems here and run away to other countries because they are afraid maybe of the law. But mostly it's those Europeans. So all I'm saying is learn. Tina lies South Africa. At the moment, and the mindset we have, if anything we will die in the streets. South Africans don't even think about crossing South Africa, running away from anyone. I'm telling you, we will die in the streets. South Africans are not the types of people that can go in the number of 1 million people migrating to another country. That's not in our DNA. Yeah, if you have lost South Africanism in your DNA, it's okay, you can move on. This video is not for you. Skip. But I'm talking to the South African who's deep-rooted to this thing, to be in South African, deep-rooted, and know it's South Africa, it's a blessed land. It's the promised land. If you know that, you will know that we are not moving away from South Africa. We will die on the street. Our blood was meant to be shed on the soil on the holy land. There's no way that we can just die in other countries. There's no way. We need to die home. So I don't care if we die in a massacre, we die individual. You see the crime in South Africa, but you will never see the South Africans moving away from South Africa. They say we have the largest crimes. But I see countries running away from their countries. We have the largest of people dying, more than in Rwanda, more than people in Congo, DRC. We have more South African dying, more than in Congo, because of we have people dying more than in Congo, but people from Congo are flocking here. We have people dying more than in Zimbabwe. We have people dying more than in Nigeria, dying by gun violence. But we never run away. It says a lot. It's just that you people never learn. You will find a way to point us in a certain. We know we are in a holy land. We know it. We can never run away from South Africa. No South African will run from South Africa. They might go to exile. They went to exile, but they were furious of coming back home. My uncle told me stories. They were furious of coming back home. They were motivated because of they knew that they're gonna die in the motherland. That's the spirit of South Africans. So if you don't learn, I know we have our corruption, and that's the most part. Us as Africans, we are common with when it comes to we have corrupt politicians, whole Africa. But when it comes to different things, we act differently. That's what I can tell you. When it comes to tribalism and black people hating on black people, it's less in South Africa. We don't do that. You might hear things about xenophobia, and they've created that word for only the people of the Holy Land. They've created this thing has been going on and on amongst against every African country, but when it happens in the Holy Land, it's another thing. Like I've told you, English is the language of the devil. Is the language of the devil. He twists words so that you can feel different about certain things. He used harsh words for people he hates. He used nice words for themselves if they wanna make sure that you know what they did, but you don't understand. I'll tell you today. You heard that video I've posted where they say a Israeli general is a commando, but a Palestine general is a terrorist. CIA don't kill people, they neutralize them. If you kill, if you take somebody's life, you kill. But if CIA do, they've neutralized that person. They depopulate, So you should understand. So that's why these Africans who are allowing this word xenophobia to be thrown around South Africa, because of the white people have used the word against us to stain us, to stain our white shirts with xenophobia. Why they wanna stain our white shirts? We didn't kill anyone in 1994. You should remember that's the biggest massacre should have happened. We didn't do it. We asked African brothers for years and years and years, and I hate that some people were killed during the attacks, because of the thing is, when these type of things happen, the criminals also wanna do their own criminality, then start doing bad things. But It was for a good cause when it started. So people, now you should go back to your country, fix your stuff. We want to fix our stuff. We're having problems. So I'm still telling you, I will never, never be against Africans standing for themselves, because of I know the power of a person who can stand for himself. He can stand for other people. But it's not like you are fighting the enemy. You're fighting yourself, so we can't help. How can you help a person who's fighting himself? The problem in Nigeria is not Britain, it's Nigeria. How can we help? The problem in Congo, it's Congolese. Because if they can say, hey, it's Laba, it's the West, they're funding here. Why do they allow to be funded here and funded there? Then make them to fight amongst each other. They are the one who are fighting. The white man is not doing the killing. The black man is doing the killing. So I'll never take that. The other thing, Zimbabweans, the problem in Zimbabwe, it's twice. It's us African and Zimbabwean people, they don't want to elect the right government. They don't want to diselect the ZANU-PF so they can move on. It's time to move on. What does it worth to have a land that you don't use? That one day your kids will be treated and they would take that land will be taken from them because of they are hungry. Because they are hungry. What's it used? Because Tina Sizos are from Tina South Africans, so this is Nemad. We will be having those money, invest in your country, buy big of your land. You see, and maybe other white people, when that opportunity comes, they will come in your country. Most people will have money, except Zimbabwean people. So the land will be bought by most people except the Zimbabwean people. Because they will be the poorest one. If they have farms, they won't sustain the farms without the money. They will have to sell the farms. So to me, it's stupid. It's very stupid. So guys, I respect everyone. I hope us as Africans wake up. Wake up. I'm done.